Hello. Hello, everybody. It's me, Shannon LaBruyere. I am live and loving it tonight. Welcome to Sunday Night Live, where we explore the principles that allow us to thrive in change. I'm super excited tonight to explore the Thrive principle, trust the process. We are going to be talking about how as we're navigating change, recuperating from change, how we can trust the process to help us to get unstuck, to help us to move forward. And you are going to love it. This is a great tool for you to put in your tool belt. It's a great principle for you to share with the other people in your life when maybe they. Oh, hey, Kelly jumping on. Missy's here. She says she's missed Sunday Night Live. We've missed you too. Welcome, everybody. And before we get too far, let me just show you your ticket to a discount on the best coffee ever. You can get the best coffee ever. Trust me, I promise, at thumbroastcoffee.com, and you can save 15% off your online order if you use the coupon code THRIVE, THRIVE. It is simple to put in, and it is going to pay off big time because you are going to love that coffee. Every morning, I look forward, well, actually, every night when I go to bed, I look forward to my thumb roast coffee that I know I'm going to have in the morning. It's that good. So if you want to try it, go to thumbroastcoffee.com and use the coupon code THRIVE. You will not be sorry. Awesome. Who else have we got in the house? We're talking about trust the process. That's our Thrive principle. Hashtag trust the process. Ooh, Mary, it's good to see you here on live and not just catching up later. And Missy, thank you for sharing this on your timeline. Appreciate it very much. And Laura, I'm glad you're here. All right, you guys, we are going to get started without further ado. We are talking about the next step to take when you're stuck. The next step to take when you're stuck. So, oh, hi, Margaret. Gosh, we've got a full house tonight. I love that. Thank you for being here, everybody. And here's for the love of scrapbooking. Yes, glad to have you here. I think that might be Tammy. So, Tammy, welcome. I'm glad you could pop in. And if you are new to Sunday Night Live, by all means, give StreamYard permission to use your name. And then when you comment, I'll be able to see who you are. If you've never been here before, I would love to know who you are, where you're watching from, and how I could help you to thrive in change. The change you wanted that maybe surprised you, the change you didn't want that came anyway. There are ways that we can learn to manage that, and that's what we specialize here on Sunday Night Live. So let's get started. The next step that you need to take when you're stuck. So for better or worse, I have a lot of stories I could tell about being stuck. And maybe you guys could too. And as I was looking back over my history and looking at the different times that I've been stuck, there were a few that really stuck out to me. So I'm going to share them with you. And I noticed a pattern. And that pattern is something that I'm sure I'm not the only one. I think this is a pattern that you share as well. And so knowing that it could happen is a great thing because it allows us to be prepared and not surprised when it happens. So, all right, no mystery here. My first story about being stuck was right after my second child was born. So I had a son, and he was 4.5 years old when his little brother came along. And I had managed well with my one son. My husband and I were loving parenting, and Daniel was well behaved, and he was easy to deal with. And it was 2-1, you guys. There were two of us and one of him. And for some reason, that felt great. It felt really good. Hi, Carolyn. Hi, Corey. And it felt comfortable. And so for 4.5 years, we had my husband, me, and Daniel. And then Michael came along. And when I brought Michael home from the hospital, I was, like many parents, overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. Hit a thumbs up or a heart if you've been overwhelmed, whether it was because you had a baby or maybe you got a new job, or so many changes that come at us can cause us to become overwhelmed. And I was overwhelmed by having two children. Now, I can't look back and tell you that it was any one thing. It wasn't like it was the extra work involved or that I wasn't sleeping, although both of those things were true. But I was just overwhelmed. And from the time I got home with Michael and the day that my husband went back to work, I was fine when he went back to work. Or I was fine until he went back to work. After he went back to work, I didn't leave the house, you guys. I was afraid. I was afraid. I was stuck. I just couldn't, I felt like I couldn't even move. I had a 4.5-year-old and I had an infant and I had a car seat and I had a car and I had keys and I could technically go places, but you guys, I was overwhelmed with fear of the unknown and I could not leave the house. I was stuck. I was stuck and it felt terrible. Another time that I was stuck, another time I got stuck was when I experienced a really significant health issue and my kidney was bleeding and they did not know why. And they did not know if it would stop. And thank God it did. And they still don't know really what goes on with my kidney because it's happened a few times. But the first time it happened, I was in the hospital for a couple of weeks. I came home and I was recuperating and I was feeling healthier, but I was afraid to go back to work. I was afraid to go back to work. Maybe this has happened to you. I was fine if I was at home and sitting on my couch in my robe and my slippers. But when it came time to actually get dressed and leave to do something official or go to work, I had a meltdown. I was stuck. I could not move. So who else has had that happen where a change came your way and you were stuck when the change was over? Anybody else, or is it just me? Am I a weirdo? Well, you guys are typing that out. Denise, for the love of scrapbooking. Of course you're for the love of scrapbooking. And it's first time watching from your laptop. Well, that's all right. Your business is also part of the Sunday Night Live group. That's awesome. I'm so glad to see you here, Denise. Thank you for being here. Who else has been stuck? So I'm seeing some, let me see. Margaret's got a thumbs up. Corey's put some thumbs up. Missy has. So I'm not talking crazy. This is stuff that you guys can relate to. This is what I've discovered. When talking to people who are going through change, whenever there is a significant change, and you'll just have to bear with me. Teddy, come here, buddy, bud. Come here, buddy. Come here, bud. We might just have to tolerate him, you guys. His dad isn't home. All right. Corey says she's felt stuck and she's been overwhelmed before, personally and professionally. Yeah. So two ways of stuck. The first way that I've experienced, actually there's probably a million, but two significant ones. The first one is when you're just in a routine and you just feel like you're in this routine and you can't get out of it, right? I just keep doing the same thing every day, every day, every day. That's a different kind of stuck. The stuck we're going to talk about today is the stuck that happens to us after a change happens in our world. Maybe we lose somebody we love. Maybe we get fired from our job. Maybe we have a new baby. So many things can impact us. The change impacts us, and it's significant. It's significant. And I don't know about you, but when a big change comes my way, I get a little stuck. I remember when I first got married and I didn't know how to go out and hang with my friends anymore. I was stuck. I had a big change and I was trapped in this world of, this is all unknown to me. This is all brand new. And hold on a second, you guys. Hey, talk amongst yourselves, share some chats, and I'm going to see if I can go fix Ted, okay? I'll be right back. You're going to have to suffer up there alone, Ted. Thank you, Samuel. Samuel is our house guest. He rescued us from Ted. All right. So the kind of stuff we're talking about tonight is that stuff that hits us after change happens. A big change, going from elementary school to junior high, right? Going from high school to college. We can sometimes get a little bit overwhelmed because the transition is so unfamiliar. And if it's change that we weren't planning, if it was change like the loss of a loved one or a relationship that breaks down out of nowhere and we didn't see it coming, these kind of significant changes can stop us in our tracks. Kelly says, after my divorce, stuck was a great word to describe me. Corey's going to report Ted to HR. Please do. He is a pest. Yeah, something like a divorce, Kelly, stuck, just frozen. And we don't know what to do next. Or if we do, we're too afraid to move. Sometimes I think we're stuck because we're waiting for the right time to move, as if something magical is going to happen and the change that we hated is going to evaporate and everything's going to restore to normal like it used to be before normal. And so maybe we're holding our breath. I know it was sort of like that for me. Kelly says this, I didn't know how to be alone. Yeah, what a huge change. Those significant changes, the black to white, the 180 degrees, you were with somebody and then you weren't with somebody, you were alone, a big change. It is easy for us to get stuck after a big change. So the first thing I want you to know is this, it is not your fault. It's not that you're doing something wrong. It's not that if only I would have fill in the blank more, I wouldn't be stuck now. Being stuck is not your fault. It is a defense. It is a reflex that our protective parts throw up to say, okay, we're going to keep Shannon safe for a while here. Her kidney melted down. We have no idea what's wrong with it. We don't know what tomorrow holds. We're just going to stay here in our little cocoon and we're going to stay nice and safe. It is a normal response. If you have experienced being stuck, I don't want you to think that you've done something wrong. You haven't. It is normal. It is normal. But what I want to explore is, how do you get unstuck? So if you're stuck and feeling trapped or afraid, too nervous to step outside to see what that new world looks like after that job loss, or after that relationship broke down, or after your loved one passed away. If you're wondering what to do next, you're in the right place. The key to getting unstuck is always the same. Mary says, I make her feel normal. Mary, good, because you are normal. You are normal. These are normal responses that we have as humans, and they are there for understandable reasons. But we also can acknowledge them and realize that they don't always serve us. When I was stuck in those four walls with my 4.5-year-old and my infant son, and my husband had gone back to work and we didn't have any groceries, it was no fun. It was no fun being stuck being stuck didn't serve me well anymore. It wasn't safe. I couldn't just stay in that cocoon. So know this, the key to getting unstuck always starts with the first thing, and it is this: one step. One step is what it takes. Now, before you go writing a life plan, we are going to explore this idea of one step, but let me see what we've got here. You guys are sharing like crazy. I love this. So Carol says getting a promotion in a company when others thought they were getting it was difficult because that person wasn't happy for you. So yeah, what should have been a welcome change, Carol, I can't even imagine. You were like, you couldn't win that one. You couldn't be happy. That other person was unhappy. It took a lot of energy to continue being friends and letting them know that you were capable. Yeah, somebody was getting stuck there. And Carol, it doesn't sound like it was you. It doesn't sound like you allowed yourself to be trapped by that other person's emotions, but you were kind about it, which is awesome. The step you took was to remain kind. I think that's fantastic. Corey says this: my mom was given a great quote after her husband passed away. Life after loss is a new normal. This can apply to any kind of loss or change in our lives, and recognizing that it's going to be new and not going to be the same as before. Corey, you're on to something, and we are going to explore that just a little bit with this idea of taking one step to get unstuck. Carol says this: now the mom's going to have food delivered. Yes. So theoretically, more opportunity to stay stuck, right? Hopefully not. Yeah. Okay. So one step. Last week, I was trying to open a jar of spaghetti sauce, and I was just, I was really torquing on that jar. I could not get it off, you guys. I'm a weakling. I'm a wimp. I don't know. So I went and I gave it to my husband because, you know, he's big and strong. And I gave him the spaghetti sauce and I said, here, honey, will you do it? And he was having the worst trouble. And then all of a sudden he goes, I think it gave just a little bit. I think it gave just a little bit. That jar, one little tiny movement was enough to get the ball rolling so that the next couple of turns, he was able to get that jar open. Missy says, my one step is to call my coach. And if you don't have a coach, call Shannon. Amen to that, Missy. I do the same. I call my coach. So one step. This is the thing. Sometimes we convince ourselves that the one step we need to take needs to be a big step. Because, I mean, after all, we've had a big change. We've had a big change, right? Whatever that change was, the new normal is significantly different. And we think we're just going to have to go out there and conquer it. We're going to conquer the world. We're going to go from point A to point Z, zip, just like that. But that's not how getting unstuck works. Getting unstuck does not happen with the giant leap. How many of you know I'm a big fan of giant leaps? Sometimes they are necessary, but I'm here to tell you, do not beat yourself up if you are not ready for a giant leap after you've had a significant change. If you are stuck, and I'm here to tell you, you're taking your first step right about now because you're tuning into this. You're leaning into this. You said to yourself, you know what? I want to learn. I want to learn more about how to get unstuck. That's movement, my friend. It's a little step. This is the important thing. Not that you take a big step, not that you take a significant step, that you take a little step. So there's been a change in how I deliver my training content. I use an online tool as part of my suite of tools to serve my clients. I use an online tool called Kajabi. Some of you may have heard of it. And it is a wonderful, very, very capable, dynamic, very robust online platform for a coach like me to post training programs and have people to either they can purchase it and watch it on a video, or they can tune in live. It's just a wonderful thing. I have no idea how to use it. And so I told myself, I am going to work on Kajabi an hour a day, every day. Well, I just made a significant change in the way I'm executing my business. And everything after that decision, like Corey said, is the new normal. That past is gone. Any step I take is going to be taken into the unknown. And my lizard brain, that part of my psyche that says, Shannon, you need to stay safe. Shannon, you don't need to be doing anything new. Shannon, that is too hard. That part of my psyche strung me up, you guys, like a straitjacket. And I felt so trapped. And I couldn't even look at it. I have a beautiful, beautiful suite of training that I can access by video to learn how to use this tool. I actually have a coach whom I've hired to help me to navigate this new tool. And still, straitjacket, you guys, I made my decision. I was trying to move forward, but everything on the other side of my decision was new and scary, and I got stuck. So enter the challenge. A friend of mine, a fellow coach, has a wonderful group called the I'm Possible community. It's awesome. And she sponsored a challenge. And you guys, it was a 30-day challenge, 30 days. And I got to pick what I did. I got to pick what I was going to do. So my 30-day challenge, all I had to do was do the same thing, or not the same thing. I had to do my challenge obligation every day for 30 days in a row. And if I missed a day, I have to start back over at 1 until I can do it 30 days in a row. This is a beautiful tool. And I thought this tool was going to get me unstuck. But I took my one step, or I didn't even take it. I made it way too big, you guys. I'm going to work on my Kajabi training for an hour every day, and I'm going to blah, 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 blah. You guys, I was going from this, thinking that I was just going to be out there and tearing it up. That wasn't practical. Have you ever done that? Made a commitment to yourself, and it was so huge that you didn't do it? You're normal, Mary. If that's happened to you, it's happened to me. We're normal. That is normal. This is why when we are stuck, the solution isn't one big step. It is one little step. And not just a little step, you guys. How can you make that step so small that it is almost impossible not to do it? How can you, when you are stuck, take a step outside of your stuckness into that new frontier, right, Corey? How can you take that step and make it as small as possible, kind of like that jar of spaghetti sauce, where the lid just starts to turn and you go, oh yeah, now we're moving. You don't have to take off from being stuck at a running leap. All you have to do is take one little step. You know what I did? I couldn't do that hour a day Kajabi. So I looked at it and I coached myself a little and said, okay, Shannon, how can I make that step smaller? I want you to try that, you guys. How can I make that step smaller? How can I make that step even smaller? We'll come back to that. So let's see. After my divorce, Kelly says, I wrapped around my new normal. I went back to college and graduated. It made me realize I didn't have to stay stuck. Yeah, you wrapped around your new normal. You got accustomed to it. You took a step out. It's a beautiful thing when you start moving. All right, so Missy says, this premise idea has changed my life, and my coach, Shannon, is the one that facilitated it. Thank you. I love hearing that. Yes. All right. She asked me a question that made a huge change in my life by asking me, what's one step? I took that step and continued taking them daily. Thank you, Coach Shannon, for changing my life. And thank you, Missy, for leaning in to your purpose and your dreams and taking action on what you learn. It's an amazing, amazing transformation that you've had and continue to have. And it really is one step. And when we're going from stuck to trying to move, don't put too much pressure on yourself to have it be the big step. Take a little step, a little tiny step. Sometimes that's getting dressed in the morning. Anybody else get kind of knocked out by a pandemic and spend way too much time in your pajamas? I know I did. My life turned upside down. Your life turned upside down. Couldn't really leave my house. Couldn't interact with people. Was isolated. Didn't care if I got dressed in the morning. Started that slippery slope. Got stuck. How do you get out of that? A big change. Stuck. And then a little at a time. All right. When I get up in the morning, instead of wearing pajamas, I'm going to put on yoga pants, which is a teeny tiny step different than pajamas. The tiniest possible step. Kelly says exercise. All right. What a great place to start. Exercise. Kelly, what is the smallest thing that you could do to just get the ball rolling with exercise? Not an hour-long yoga video, not 3 days a week at the gym. We burn out on that after when we're stuck. Sometimes we can't even do it. But can you, for example, while you're brushing your teeth or while you're combing your hair, could you, maybe stand on one leg to get your balance going, right? How about, and I've done these things, while I'm brushing my teeth, stand on one leg, alternate, or sit up against the wall so that I'm, getting my legs stronger. One little thing, the smallest possible step. Mary says this, I didn't think a small step would help, but it does. Yes. This is the thing. Stuck is stuck, and unstuck is unstuck. You can't be a little bit stuck. Stuck is stuck. Stuck is stuck. But movement is unstuck. And so if you are moving, you are not stuck. You don't have to move fast. You don't have to go far with every step. Keep moving. One small step, one small step, one small step. And eventually momentum starts to build. With my challenge that I'm in the midst of with Kajabi, you know what my small step became? Because I couldn't do an hour. I thought, okay, if I can't do an hour, how about if I just at least watch the whole training video and pay attention? I couldn't even do that, you guys. I was so afraid of jumping back into that training program. It's big. It's a program that's not intuitive to me. It's something new. You guys, I'm uncomfortable. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? I'm stretching, I'm growing. And that big step of watching the whole video was too much. Guess what my challenge became? I kept asking myself, how can I make that step smaller? How can I make that step smaller? Because I wasn't moving until I finally got to a step that I could take. All I required myself to do to start was to hit play on the video and allow it to play until it was over. These are like 10-minute videos, you guys. They're not long. I didn't have to watch it. I know you're probably laughing, like, what good did that do? It got me unstuck. I didn't have to watch the video. I didn't have to pay attention to video. I didn't have to do the workbook that went along with the video. All I have to do is go into my computer or my mobile phone and hit play on the next training video. And then I can play a word game. I can sew. I can read. I can do anything I want. My one step is this big. And I am thrilled. I am thrilled with it because guess what happened? I clicked that button and I clicked that button and I clicked that button and I dreaded it every time. Every time I dreaded doing it until one day I forgot. And now I had to start my challenge over. 1, 2, 3. I was up to day 10. And on day 11, I procrastinated. I didn't want to do it. I didn't even want it playing in the background, you guys. Come on. So I had to take a step back. Do I even want to start this over? Do I even want to try? You know what? I did want to try. It did matter to me. I chose to keep moving. And that choice, when faced with the opportunity to stop, the fact that I said, you know what, this is a teeny tiny step and I can do this teeny tiny step. It's going to be okay. All of a sudden, I started paying attention to those videos. I'm actually interested. I'm like, oh, I need to pull up that workbook. Oh, that sounds good. I was in there the other day practicing something new. I am officially, dun, da, da, I'm taking a bow for those of you who are listening to the podcast. I am officially unstuck. But I didn't get unstuck by jumping in and doing something that I didn't want to do for an hour a day. I got unstuck by doing the smallest possible step that would allow me to move. What is the small step you need to take that will allow you to move, that you'll say, you know what, I can do that. I can brush my teeth. If that's all you can manage, if you haven't brushed your teeth in 6 weeks, 6 days, 6 months, if all you can do is brush your teeth, you're moving. Keep brushing your teeth. Just keep doing it. Oh my gosh, you guys, we have so many comments. I love this. All right. Carol says, some things I've had to farm out to others to do to handle the stress that they caused me. Yeah, sometimes we can't deal with it. It's okay to get somebody else to do it. It's okay. Whatever your small step is, take it so that you can get out of that stuck state into that new normal. This is the thing. This is the thing. Any step we take after being stuck, it's going to be brand new out there. There's something about moving that's scary, that feels overwhelming. It is going to be something new. Give yourself permission to take one little step into that new territory, just one, a little one, and then give yourself permission to do it again. Missy says, oh, Kelly says this, get out of bed. Sometimes that's what it is, isn't it? Sometimes we cannot even get out of bed. We are that level of stuck. And if we tell ourselves, I have to get out of bed, I have to take a shower, I have to blow dry my hair, I have to get on clothes that match, it all feels so overwhelming and we don't want to do anything. I can't do all that. When I had my 4.5-year-old and my little infant, and I was thinking, I'm going to have to leave this house and I'm going to have to look like I have my act together and they're going to have to look perfect and be adorable. And, you know, the first day that I left my house, Kelly, this reminds me, as you're talking about just getting out of bed, I wore the most basic clothes that I had. I did not get dressed. I put my hair in a ponytail. I didn't even comb it. My little infant was in his little onesie and I put a blanket. It was July, so it was hot. And I just put a light blanket over his car seat. He wasn't dressed. I was barely dressed. My 4.5-year-old got himself dressed, but we were moving. And once I started moving, it wasn't as scary. It wasn't as unknown. That new normal started to become the old normal. But it took time. And it took little steps. Missy says, I'm still learning to stay moving by taking small steps. I realize I can't go from A to Z in one day or one decision, and that it's okay. I think giving myself permission to only do that one step toward that scary thing has helped. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yes, one little step. It's a beautiful, beautiful system. Oh, hi, Sarah. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. All right, so let's see. Carol says, I've gotten rid of 80% of the stuff in my home so I can handle the cleaning and straightening without stress. It is hard to let go of stuff, but it is harder to keep things clean, and I got to decide. Doing what it takes to prevent yourself from getting bogged down and stuck, beautiful thing. And sometimes that requires us doing something new, doesn't it, Carol? But I've always done this. But I've always done this. Yeah, but you're stuck. How are you going to get unstuck? One little step. Corey has an example here. I'm going to hang this picture in the center of this wall. If I'm going to center it, I need the tape measure to see where to put the nail. So the first step isn't hang the picture. The first step is find the tape measure. Yes, I love that example. Yeah, ask yourself, you know what? My mission is to get a college degree. Well, your first step is not to go enroll in classes, is it? Nope. There's some other steps that you have to do before you go enroll in classes. What's the next smallest step? What's the next smallest step? What's the next smallest step? Sometimes it's just calling and making an appointment. You guys, I've got to go get a physical. I haven't had one since COVID started. I know I need one. I had some health issues, just between you and me, that they kind of flagged me for before COVID, and I still haven't gone back to follow up. And they're not the kind of thing that's going to hurt me overnight, but over time, I need to pay attention. I need to make that call. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. What's the next step? The next step isn't calling and making 15 appointments. The next step for me, and I'm going to do it, you guys, tomorrow, is to call and make one. I'll make one appointment with my primary care physician. The end. I know I've got a whole list of others that I need to do, but I'm going to do one. I'm going to do one. Corey, I love your example. What's the next actual step that gets me closer? It's picking up the phone and making an appointment. Hanging a picture, if you want it in the center of the wall, it's going to be finding that tape measure. What's the smallest step that you can do? Because as soon as you do that teeny tiny step, you are officially unstuck. Missy says we usually make it so much bigger in our heads than it really is. And that is true. Carol says, I love these Sunday Night Live videos and I love Saturday morning live stream classes. And if you want to get unstuck in any area, join us. That's the truth. Contact me. Yes, you can message me. You can email me at sl@shannonlabruyere.com. You can absolutely Facebook message me or drop a comment. I would love to talk with you and tell you the ways that I can help you get unstuck. Sarah says this, I started walking a little bit, then increased it little bit by little bit. Now I'm walking 2 miles a day, at least every single day. Sarah, I love that. And that is like right in my face. Shannon, you need to walk a little. And in my brain, I think I have to go to Stony Creek, which is a beautiful park near me, but it involves me getting in the car and driving, or walking in my neighborhood a half a mile around my little court. And I actually don't have to. Now that you say that, Sarah, I could actually just walk up to the end of the driveway and back with the dog and do that until one day I feel like walking farther. Little steps. I love it, and thank you. Denise from For the Love of Scrapbooking says, I'm going to try pushing that play button on the video. Love this baby step. Yes, isn't that something as entrepreneurs? And I know, Denise, you are an entrepreneur. There are things that we need to learn, and it can feel so overwhelming. And just giving ourselves permission to just expose ourselves to it just a little bit, but doing that every day, powerful. Sarah's riding her bike and listening and getting movement in my day physically is important to me. So good for you. Yes, it's a beautiful thing to be able to exercise and listen to podcasts, tune into things like Sunday Night Live. There's a whole archive on my YouTube channel where you can go look it up, Sunday Night Live with Shannon LaBriere. Watch those while you're exercising, you guys. Kelly, you want to exercise? Go do that. It'll be great, educational, right? And Sarah's inspiring people, which is awesome. Thank you, Sarah. I need to walk or do something, and I need to start tomorrow and ask someone to hold me accountable, Carol says. Wonderful. Walking in the evening in the neighborhood, beautiful stuff. You guys, you're amazing and you inspire me. And I just want you to know from the bottom of my heart that you are not stuck if you're here listening. This is your first step. This was it. This was your baby step that got you moving. And once you're moving, just like that lid on that jar of spaghetti sauce, once you're moving, amazing things happen. And then momentum starts to build. When we beat ourselves up for being stuck, we just get more and more strong. We just get more and more tied up. But when we give ourselves permission to do that one little thing, like Carol said, saying no, asking somebody else to, ordering dinner and having it brought in, asking someone else to maybe take one of our responsibilities that's weighing heavy on us, when we give ourselves permission to do that little thing, it is incredible what that does to our ability to continue to grow and respond. With that, you guys, we have been here a while. This has been fantastic, and I'm loving it. Thank you for hanging. Thank you for chatting. If any of you are in that spot where you felt stuck and you're ready to take your next little step, I would love to talk with you about what that step looks like. And all you need to do is reach out to me. We can sit down virtually on the phone. I won't do it face to face. We'll just have a phone call, but we can explore what you think your next step needs to be. And it's my honor to do that with you. And it's not a sales call. It is simply an opportunity for you to talk to a professional coach and find out, what does your next step need to be? And if that next step is something that I can help you with, I'm always happy to do that. I'd love to talk with you about it. With that, you guys, thank you. Sarah, it was good to have your voice in the comments, your voice in the pool. Denise from For Love of Scrapbooking, so glad you're here. And then Corey, Missy, Kelly, Mary, Carol. Oh my gosh, we've just got some really, really awesome comments in here. Thank you so very much. God bless you all. Have a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye.